When we were here the first day, we did that first little self-analysis, right? We tested our heart rate, we checked our stressometer, and we also tested our breathing. Why did I care about your breathing? Remember what we did? What did we do with our breathing? What did we do?
We put our hands on our chest and on our stomach to feel what we were breathing with, what muscles we were trying to use.
Okay, everyone do this again. So sit up, straight up and down. Why did we do that? Why, do you know why we did that? Why did we care?
Where we're putting our air.
Do you know?
Isn't it, it's more natural to breathe with your stomach muscles, or not stomach muscles, but down, yeah. Instead of your chest muscles, those aren't meant to be used for breathing, so when you're stressed,
Right.
you breathe those instead, though.
Yeah, do you have anything else to add to that?
We did this so we were aware of how we're breathing.
Yeah.
Figure out if we're using our stomach muscles or our chest muscles.
So let's do this. And don't worry that you're... So as you inhale and exhale normally, just kind of focus on your breath for a second. So how many in here, did you get a feel for that? How many in here are mostly chest breathing? And there's not judgment here. There's no, gosh, I can't even breathe right. Thing I do every day, all day long. I can't even do that right. That's not what we're saying, no. How many were both, chest and stomach, primarily? How many were stomach only? A few of you stomach only. So, if you looked at a baby and you watched it breathe, him or her, would it be chest or stomach or both?
Stomach.
It's almost only stomach, right? So you have the stomach, the diaphragm moves down, and because it's moving down, it forces, because there's not a lot of room down there, it forces this to move out. What you were just saying, yes. Okay? So, does that mean that our chest breathers are bad breathers? No, it doesn't. All that's indicating is if we're breathing with our chest where it's going up and down, and if it's more shallow, there's a good chance that our body is kind of in that fight or flight mode, because that's how we do breathe in the fight or flight mode. When you're running super fast, you need as much oxygen as possible. And so you're just, right? Now, the next question is, which is better, nose breathing, mouth breathing, or both? Which is the more natural, like you said? Which is the more natural way of breathing? In and out through our nose, mouth, or both? I don't know if I did that right.
I think nose.
Do you think nose?
I guess.
Most, I was listening to a guy who is, there's one book I read called The Science of Breath, and then there was another guy I was listening to on a podcast who's one of those super brilliant guys who's done a lot of research on breathing. And he said most people breathe in and out through their mouths from time to time, and unless you're working out, you should breathe in and out almost only through your nose. Unless you're exercising, doing something, or if you just ran to the top of the stairs, and so you need that extra air, no big deal. But when you're just sitting like this, we should consciously, and I do this a lot, where I just notice I'm going, and I have to consciously go, not with my hands, but I have to go. And the thing that I notice when I do that is suddenly my breath gets a little bit slower when I just focus on just mouth, just nose breathing. So the focus of this morning, the first part of today, is on the breath. And there's a lot of different ways that we can play with the breath to create different physiological states and psychological states. What we're after in this class is how can we do everything possible to turn our stress levels off. And so one of the ways we can do that is by putting our attention on our breath and then breathing in the most natural, most relaxing way possible. And that all by itself can interrupt the stress response as powerfully as anything we know of. So, if you are breathing, and this is something that, according to this expert that has been doing a lot of research, he says most people breathe in a way that doesn't bring about the deepest level of relaxation. Now, what I'd like you to do is just sit up for a second. Sit up so you're kind of straight up and down. Now, for just a second, I want you to, if you want to put one hand here and one hand here, you can. But I want you to, so sit back in your chair so you're not like hunching over, so you're comfortably sitting. And now I want you to make it so that just your stomach is moving when you inhale and your stomach's moving when you exhale, and not your chest. So don't manipulate the speed of your breath. Do manipulate the depth of your breath. Okay, so just make it so that if you're a chest breather, if you're a both breather, then just for just a second, try it so that it's just, is that easy for, is that hard for you? Is it? And I'm not, it might be just because if we're always kind of accustomed to going like this, it is a switch. And so don't be too concerned that it's not coming easily. But try to make it so that as you inhale and exhale, just your stomach hands moving. Okay, now I want to add one more thing to that, and this I just learned in the last year, and it's so relaxing, it's so cool. Once you get that rhythm, the important part of they used to say, and I've heard people back when they, without knowing, they would just say, okay, breathe in really deeply, right? And maybe even hold it, and then let it out. But for the deepest relaxation, and this is something you can do anywhere, when. You can do this all the time. What we're after, what seems to be the most relaxing way to breathe is having the exhale be as slow and long and soft as possible. So you breathe in just to a normal level. Don't breathe deeply. Don't go there. Just go to. And then when you feel like, oh, good, that's enough, then when you exhale super, super slow. Not to a point where you are out of breath, but that's not a bad thing, actually. But just exhale to a point where or exhale to a intensity of soft, soft, soft. So let's try that for just a second. Yes, we're in class and we're breathing. I know, it seems awfully weird. So sit up, sit straight back, get your straight up and down. If you'd like to put your hands there, feel free if you don't feel like you need to. But what I want you to do is just focus for a second on your breathing. And as your mind wanders off, thinking, oh, this is so stupid, why am I doing this? Just go, thanks for sharing. And then go back to your breath and make the exhale as slow as you can possibly make it. As soft. No effort whatsoever. Just make your exhale as effortless as possible. Go. Make the exhale as effortless as you can, as soft and long as you can. So as you're doing that, what do you notice? Did anyone notice anything? Anything become apparent to you while you were modifying or playing with it?
I was able to really feel my heartbeat as I was breathing. I don't know.
Really?
It's really cool.
But not in an uncomfortable way.
No, it's just like it's there.
Oh.
Cool. It's bumping.
Nice, good observation. What else? Anything else you noticed as you were you able to do the stomach a little more?
Yeah, it was weird though because I guess I just don't breathe like that. So like it wasn't like uncomfortable, it was just different.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard to do.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't hard to breathe. You know?
The stress response, when it's on, yeah, that's some of the, you have certain symptoms that indicate, that are feedback, yeah, this is how stress shows up for me. And as soon as we do something that is natural, that is turning down the stress response, our body goes back to, oh, this is how I should feel. And it feels good. We really should, and I know nobody feels this way, but we should feel good most of the time. When we're in balance, when we're in homeostasis, we should feel good. We shouldn't have aches and pains and problems and that sort of thing. And so what we're trying to do here is figure out ways to get back there. Breathing is one of those most powerful ways. Now we're going to do an extended version of this. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So is deep breathing supposed to be normal for us?
If you need more air, yeah. If you're doing something where you need more air, when you say deep breathing, you mean like.
From the stomach, yeah, because we have to, pull in more.
So, does anyone in here sing? Taking singing lessons? You have? Did they teach you? How did your singing instructor teach you to breathe when you sing? With your stomach, right? Do you know why?
So that you're not using like your throat when you're trying to sing higher. Well, I was a soprano, so like when I was trying to sing higher notes, I tried to focus on using my abdomen instead of my throat, so that I could sing it better. But
So the tone would come out better, yeah. Same thing? Was that the case for you too?
We practice every week. When I go to voice lessons, we practice
Breathing.
in and out.
Yeah. See,
Normal.
and so to help answer your question, I would say in every case, we want to have our breathing be deeper. We want to, except when you're working out. In every case, we want our breath to be this way in preference to this way. And so what we're going to do is just kind of practice this. So the focus of this is going to be entirely on your breathing. You're not going to focus on anything else, although your mind will wander off and you'll just bring it back. But it's going to look like this, and you're going to focus on the inhale and the exhale, trying to make it as deep as possible. So we've got the inhale and the exhale. And we're going to, the only reason why we're going to do it this way is to keep our mind focused on the breath. Because if you just lie down and then you just said, okay, I'm going to breathe for the next 20 minutes, your mind would immediately bolt out to everything else that's going on, that later today or yesterday or whatever. So this is just designed, there's nothing magical about this. This is just designed to keep our mind focused. And so we're going to use numbers and words. We're going to start with the number 20. And as you inhale, you'll say the word 20, not out loud. You'll say it, what's the opposite of not out loud? In loud? Quietly. To yourself. What?
In your head.
In your head. That's the one I wanted. So you'll say 20. As you inhale, not a full inhale, but just an inhale to where you've got enough. And then you'll exhale, and you will say the word relax. And you'll do that to about 16. This is just to keep us focused. So inhale, 20, exhale, and you'll say in your head, relax. And then you'll say, and in your mind you'll go 19, and relax. And then you'll get to, from 15 to 11, you'll say, quiet, or something like that. So you'll inhale, 15, and then the exhale, make it as long and as soft as you can make it. You'll say the word quiet. And then from 10 to 6, do, I don't know, calm. Let's try that one. And from 5 to 0, still. Just have that be your word as you're slowly as possible exhaling. Okay, was that difficult for anyone?
Mine was difficult in different places. Just trying to focus. I'm just trying to relax a lot.
Do you find that your breaths are pretty long and slow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that I noticed even when I was doing this, because my breaths are really slow, and my mind would just suddenly go all over the place between, I'd say 20 and then, okay, what have I got to do? What have I got to do? So yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think I'm like the opposite because I'm a percussionist, so I count a lot. So like I can get more relaxed and more focused if I'm counting, and then if I just try and like breathe and not count.
So that felt good for you.
Yeah.
See, and this is an important point, and I appreciate you saying that. We'll be doing 8 or 10 of these, and none of them will work perfectly for everyone. And some of them will work better for you than others. And so you just kind of try them all and see what really works. My experience is 1 or 2 will be profoundly useful for you. And that's why I'm okay with Amy saying, I didn't like that. I'm okay with that. Jen, I don't like that. That's okay. No problem. We'll find one that does. I guarantee we'll find 2 or 3 where you'll go, holy cow. Does anyone feel noticeably better from that one? This really resonates with you, it sounds like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I don't really breathe like that, so it was good to focus on it. And as I counted, I felt like my body get more and more relaxed. So I really liked it.
Each time we exhale, if we're doing anything, and if you want to just kind of what Amy was saying, when you're doing anything and you notice yourself kind of going, you know what I mean? Test, oh, study, oh, and you find your shoulders kind of inching up. As soon as you just focus on the exhale and make it long. If you've got something where you're performing in front of a group of people, or if you have anything that is, you can do this anywhere, where you just kind of, and you watch your shoulders, you'll just kind of go, and your face will kind of go, you know, do any of you get jaw problems, where your jaw hurts? Do you too? You do these things and you'll start to notice, that doesn't hurt so bad. So, yeah.
Does anybody else get, like, the more relaxed you get, like, start jerking? Like, I noticed that I kind of, like, doze off and I'm like, I jerk. Is that normal?
How many do that?
When I did the power nap at home, I kept,
Yeah.
like,
How many of you, speaking of that, when you're falling asleep at night, you notice yourself kind of doing one of those?
I don't always.
Same thing?
I have today.
So both of those, in either case, that, and I have studied this, researched this to see, because that always, people always say this happens to them. And it's just one way our body's going, release. It's a release of tension somewhere. It's its way of, because it's never, when you're just sitting here thinking about something that's coming up, you never suddenly go, oh geez. It's always as you're doing something relaxing, like falling asleep or doing a relaxation exercise, and so it's just your body doing what it naturally is trying to do to get to release that stress that is in your muscles, in your physiology.
I used to, like, jerk all the time, but I haven't done it for so long I kind of forgot about it.
But you'd notice today you did?
Strange.
So you got a double dose of,
I did, and I jerked
Today.
4 times too.
did you really?
Yep.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things that'll start to happen for you that may seem unusual just because it's never been a part of your experience. When we do, the one we're going to do next week is just the coolest one that I guarantee nobody's ever done in here, except Amy because she was in the class before, Alex because he was in the class before. It is so unusual, and yet, man, it is so extremely powerful.
Is it autogenic?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, everyone loves autogenics. Now, I'd like you to do it 2 times, and one of those times do it as you're falling asleep. Only the rest of the times that we do the falling asleep ones, do it in bed. You know, as if you're falling asleep. Put your headphones on as you're falling asleep, as you're listening to it, and then if at some point you feel like I can't do this anymore, just pull off your headphones and fall asleep. Don't wait through the exercise thinking I've got to get to the end first. This is one of the more powerful ones that I know of to help fix sleeping problems. And so use it as the very last thing. Now, the other thing that I would suggest for you with this one, and this is really important, as I'm on the audio, I'm saying, we're kind of doing something similar to this, and I'm saying inhale, and I'm saying exhale. If that's not the rhythm that you inhale and exhale to, just go at your speed. Don't try and go at the speed, because some of us breathe really quickly, others breathe really, really slowly. So just go at a speed that works for you. Don't worry about it getting it just right. Okay?